We are still waiting on the Doomsday trailer like it owes us money, but Marvel just dropped something that is actually worth talking about. New official promo artwork for Avengers Doomsday surfaced yesterday, and before you scroll past thinking it is just another generic poster with floating heads, hold on, because buried inside this artwork are some genuinely interesting costume confirmations, a Beast reveal that raises real questions about Marvel's CGI pipeline, and one detail about Gambit that comic fans are going to absolutely love. Also, at a certain point in this video, I want to talk about what it actually feels like to look at this image, because there is something almost surreal about seeing these characters grouped together for the first time, and I think a lot of you are feeling the same thing right now. So let us start with what the promo actually shows. You have Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men all assembled together in a single piece of artwork. And yes, some people immediately dismissed this as a generic comic book rendering with no real connection to what the movie looks like. And to be fair, a few of the likenesses in there are doing their best under difficult circumstances. But here is how you know this is actual Doomsday merchandise and not just fan art with a logo slapped on it. The costumes are accurate. Specifically, the Fantastic Four are wearing those white leather jackets over blue that we have been hearing about from costume leaks for months. Seeing it confirmed in official artwork is the kind of thing that quietly validates a whole chain of earlier reporting. If the jacket detail is right, other details from those same sources probably are too. Now let us talk about Gambit, because Channing Tatum is apparently wearing the comic-accurate Gambit costume, and I need a moment to appreciate that. For people who grew up watching the X-Men animated series in the 90s, that costume is basically burned into your memory. The trench coat, the chest armor, the whole dramatic silhouette. It is one of the most recognizable superhero looks in the history of the genre, and the fact that Marvel is going full comic accurate with it rather than doing that thing where they update everything into tactical gray and call it a day is genuinely a good sign. And honestly, once you commit to bringing Gambit back in the first place, which by the way took about 15 years longer than it should have, you kinda have to go all the way. You cannot put Channing Tatum in a Gambit suit and then give him like a sensible jacket. That is not how this works. The broader point the Gambit costume confirms is that Marvel is going all in on comic and animated series accuracy for the full X-Men lineup in Doomsday. We already knew Cyclops was getting his classic look. Magneto has been photographed in full classic costume. If Gambit is also staying faithful to the source material, it strongly suggests Marvel is making a deliberate creative choice to present the complete X-Men roster in the way fans have been picturing them since childhood. Mixing and matching iconic looks with redesigns at this stage would feel inconsistent. When you can finally put all of these characters together on screen at the same time, you want that image to land, and it only lands the way it should if everyone looks like themselves. Now here is the one that has me thinking a little harder. Beast is visible in the promo from the torso up, and it is full Beast mode. Complete CGI rendering the whole look, no clothes covering the design. And look, the character appeared in a post-credits scene for the Marvels and looked fine in those brief moments. But there is a real conversation to be had about where Marvel's CGI quality has been sitting for the past few years, because it has not been consistently great and everyone knows it. The multiverse saga had some genuinely rough visual effects moments in both the movies and the shows, and the comparison to the Infinity Saga era is not flattering if you go back and look. A full CGI character like Beast, rendered across an entire film's worth of screen time, is going to be an interesting test case for how much the studio has tightened things up. The Russo's films have historically looked good on this front. Their visual effects were strong across Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. And the CGI work on The Thing and Galactus in Fantastic Four was genuinely impressive, especially the mix of practical and digital effects that gave those characters actual physical weight. So the infrastructure is there. The issue is time. Good CGI is almost entirely a function of how many hours go into it and how many revision passes the team gets to do. If the reported late-stage script changes and ongoing reshoots are eating into the post-production calendar, that is the thing that tends to show up in the final product in ways that are immediately obvious to anyone watching. Hopefully, the Russos have built enough runway to avoid that. Here's the part I actually want to sit on for a second though, because I think it is easy to get lost in costume analysis and forget what this image image represents on a bigger scale. We have been thinking about this crossover in the abstract for a long time, and now there is official promo artwork showing Falcon standing next to Cyclops, standing next to Reed Richards, all in the same frame, and it is just a normal Tuesday. That is still kind of wild to process. And the reason the trailer feels so urgent right now is exactly because of that. The character vignettes Marvel has been releasing are great for isolated hype moments, but they do not let you feel the scale. You need to see these characters in the same space reacting to each other to feel what this movie is actually going to be. The promo artwork gets partway there because at least you can see the assembled roster, but the trailer is where it becomes visceral. That is where you see Doctor Doom in a room full of people who have been fighting world-ending threats their entire lives, and you understand why everyone looks nervous. The good news is the wait is genuinely almost over in the grand scheme of things. Within the next few months, Spider-Man Brand New Day will have released, San Diego Comic-Con will have come and gone, and the entire rest of the year belongs to Doomsday. There is also the Endgame theatrical re-release in September with new footage directly connected to Doomsday, which should hold people over between now and whenever the trailer officially drops. After years of the Marvel machine running a little inconsistently, Doomsday has a genuinely unusual amount of goodwill and anticipation behind it. And promo artwork with accurate Gambit costumes and X-Men assembled alongside the Fantastic Four is a small but real reminder of why that is. This movie represents something that felt impossible not that long ago. They just have to deliver on it. The bar is high, but it is also the Russos, and that combination has worked out before.